up to speed, up to speed, up to speed.
Live from the apocalypse, the narcissist and the empath are back. Together with our powers combined, we are state of the game. Um, and I am, man, I got a new hat.
Tried.
Yeah, and just a week. Had a holiday full of beautifully inappropriate jokes and singing falsetto at church services until people noticed. Uh, like really going for it. So I enjoyed that. Um, so yeah, and my co-host, by the way, who is not Shabuzi, this dude has been walking around. He's in line for Bill's Pizza. I'm Shabuzi. You know who I am? I'm not waiting in line. I can make you a star if you give me some pizza.
country music superstar
Yep,
Shabuzi. Yeah,
he's not Shabuzi. Don't let him sell them on you. Um, got my special drink ready. Newman's Own pink lemonade, applesauce, ice. 3 parts. So ready for this year end. Now that I've introduced not just you, but my drink and my hat. So we're ready. This is 2024. I think we're doing it a different way. It used to be a list, a frantic listing of all the cool albums. We're going with something a little more traditionally human being, where we talk about stuff.
yeah.
This should be a lot more fun for me, for everybody, really, hopefully. But I think the biggest thing to start off with on the human side for me and you, okay, is the year we had. Like we can't skip that over.
Oh
Like
yeah.
we've been grinding.
Hmm.
We've been grinding. We hit episode 200 this year. And we're cruising past it. You know what I mean? This has been a heck of a journey. What do you have anything that sticks out to you from this year?
Oh man, I never look back at the old shows that we do. And so when I was doing preparation for the show and I was like looking at some of the shows we did, they were like just little memories that we've had all throughout the year. And I mean, it goes back. It made me realize like we did a lot of shows this year in
Yeah, yeah,
2024.
yeah, we did.
And there were some moments like I had forgot and felt like years ago. We actually did them in March or April of
Right.
2024. So, oh man, it's just a wonderful blur to me. So,
Oh, Def C with an incredible roast of me and my hats. You remember this? And like on the 200th episode,
well,
it was beautiful. And I'll never I'll never forget the Starlito shit.
oh yeah,
I'll never forget sitting with Starlito and not just him explaining his journey through the industry, but explaining where the industry went.
mm-hmm.
Like walking us from like physical albums to mixtapes to where we are now.
Trying to see where that. Oh, what year? I'm trying to see what month that was because that was yes September. It was posted September 8th, 2024.
Mhm.
Which feels like a lifetime ago, but really wasn't that far away.
Yeah. No, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But there's and like I said, so many memories from just different folks, from different perspectives. You know, Jeanette King in Montreal, right? Like
Yeah.
talking about soul music, and well, not just soul music, but the kind of you know sitting. It's so cool because remember with Jeanette King, there's so many people who are like, I hate genres, I hate being confined to a genre. Jeanette King was like, what genre am I? Can you help me figure this out? Like, and we sat and brainstormed with her what genre she could be.
No.
That was, you can't beat that kind of shit, man. Um,
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of knowledge. I'm looking at the list. Superstition,
oh,
the
oh,
knowledge he dropped really stood out to me. Let me see who else. I really liked Reef the Lost Cause. Uh,
yes. He was like on the stoop in Philly, like in the
yeah,
dark. He was just fucking beautiful.
that was just men and women just sharing gems,
Yeah.
like wisdom with us. And I mean, I really appreciated the time that they took to speak with us. So
We had some real vets, like
yeah,
who had seen ups and downs, who were able to give us game
yeah,
this um and that was amazing. I continue to be um kind of grateful um that Elucid trusts us to hang out.
hmm,
I think Elucid is one of the most important creative forces in music.
sure,
There's other people selling more than him and all that shit. They'll never be as creative as that. Never.
uh, I mean, you can tell he cares about the craft, and he cares about the art and the music, and that really, I mean, that not only does that reflect in his projects, but just in the conversations that we've had with him.
Kind with his time, fearless in his perspective.
Hmm.
Uh, so I can't ask for more than that. It's uh, yeah, we had a ball, man. We got to talk to so many people. Um, yeah, it's every week. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time to acknowledge that and be like, holy shit,
Yeah,
we did within a year, you know. Um, yeah, just and another thing, the people who we talk to who are killing shit right now. Let's clear some space for that.
mm.
People who we fuck with, people who we really enjoyed hanging out with, who are up, and out of here.
Oh yeah,
So I don't know how we got to do it, but I got to talk to Cavalier. We got to talk to Cavalier
yeah,
um, when Different Type Time came out. Incredible interview.
absolutely.
He's been out there opening for Lupe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could tell like that you could tell like that he was on the brink of something, of going to that next level.
Yeah, yeah. Like his skill level was there, right?
Yeah.
It was not. It's not like he got better, right? It's like his skill level was there, but the game wanted him back. The game was missing him,
Mm.
and so he cruised right out of there. Also, Milk. You remember Milk?
Yeah.
He's in Europe, opening for Rome Streets.
Oh,
Just put out an album with Chuck Strangers.
wow.
Yep. So people who we fuck with, like I said, making big moves, almost said big ass moves. That changes that sentence. I don't want that. Um, but yeah, making big moves and shout out to them. Shout out to them, dude. Like this is not to big us up, right? Like
No.
I don't consider it. I don't consider myself really smart for being able to identify people who are good at what they do. I don't think that's. It's a skill, but it's like okay, you know, not that crazy of a skill, you know. Uh, it's I really love having those conversations, and I'm really proud of those people for like marshaling their resources and leveling up,
Hmm.
right? And this isn't saying I'm not on some rise and grind shit, right? Like, go to the level where you want to be. Find out where you want to be, target that, move towards it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, and it's also about work ethic, not only in terms of, what you produce, but also, playing the game as well, doing the interviews, doing the press, making, forming relationships,
Right.
uh, so that you can have like these conversations, enlightening conversations about not only your artistry, but what the work that you do.
Some of these conversations were insane.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was when we sat down with Lieutenant Head Trip and Blood Money Perez,
Mm.
and I got to thank Head Trip for his patience. You remember that? I got to be like, for years, for years you've been sending me shit, and I've been like, I don't know, man. It's not quite
Okay.
that shit for me. Like, it's not. I don't understand this album. I don't understand this project. I can't.
Oh, okay. Now, yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, I can't fully rock this. I can't fully wave this flag for you if I don't understand what this is for. So, and he was totally nice,
It was a
totally cool.
very humble response. Right. Like,
Yep.
yeah, because I remember he's like, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from, man. Like, he
Kept
didn't get
me,
defensive. He's like, okay, like,
kept me on the mailing list, kept in touch, kept doing what he does, and I got it. And I was like, okay, I like this one. This is my shit. And so I was able to go. We were able to have a great conversation, and we were able to be a part of that album rolling out. Uh, and that speaks to his patience. Uh, yeah, the love that he puts out.
absolutely. And it's a two-way street. Sometimes like the people reviewing the music have to catch up to the music as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're patient both ways, you'll get there.
Yep. Yeah. Um, yeah, I will say from my side, I'm nothing but patient.
Mm.
Like, I got nowhere to be. Like, I always tell people when they're like, "Oh, I want to come on, but I got this." I'm like, "Dude, we do this every week." Like, well, dog, come on back. It's fine. You know,
Bro.
it's nothing. You know, there's no point in stressing it. So the artists are the ones who are stressed and who are
Mm.
pressured and who want what they want, right?
Mm.
So when you're working with someone who's not like that and who has is like, let me help plan this with you,
Yeah,
right? That's beautiful. And that's someone you always keep the door open for because they're easier to work with.
100%.
Right. Yeah. How many people have you worked with where they're like, I don't know why Brenda keeps getting promoted over me. I'm better than Brenda. And you're just thinking in your head, like, Brenda's not a pain in the ass.
That's half the battle, not being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's weird. One of those things shouldn't matter, but it definitely matters.
Mhm.
Um, so that's that part, I think. Um, yeah. Any other state of the game memories you want to?
I really enjoyed the Yada interview
Oh my God, Palmer.
uh, that we had. It must have been a couple weeks ago. It's been last couple of months have been a
Yeah,
blur.
yeah,
I mean, that was another one of my highlights for the year.
right. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, it was fantastic. I'm so glad that, and that it's one of those things. Sometimes you fight for a booking for months.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I got the advance, and I was like, I got to do this. I got to have this. I got to talk to this person. You know, um, and it really kind of came together late, you know. Um, but we were able to do it. We were able to talk about it, and it was everything I wanted it to be, you know, that conversation.
Absolutely.
So, and more, you know, great stuff. Um, yeah. Yada, one of the only people on a recommendation corner to just be like, pass. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. Always respect people that, you know, don't give in to peer pressure, do whatever they want to do at that point. I rock with it. Um, so yeah, that's good stuff. The in terms of the year in music, right?
Mm,
I almost think we got to talk about it in chunks because here's my reason why, right?
okay.
It's so broken up, dude. It's so fragmented, right? Like there's no, I realized this prepping for this. There's so many people this year that everybody's going to be talking about, and I didn't listen to them at all.
So many people this year in what year?
2024.
2024. Okay. There's so many people. Okay.
So many of the giant names of 2024. I listened to that shit once and was like, meh, and kept moving. And I never heard it again. And I never heard it again, Kay, because I don't listen to the radio. I don't watch commercials, right? Like, I'm so old school. You know, when those ads come on, like you got Hulu with ads and the ad comes on, I mute that bitch.
Mhm.
Mute that bitch.
That's-
Spin a dreidel for 24 seconds. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
So,
I mean that's a very fascinating point
so no
because I
commercials,
agree with
no
you.
radio, right? So, fuck do I care about Cowboy Carter? I listened to it once. I don't know shit about Cowboy Carter.
I I think nowadays because of streaming, people will give things a curiosity listen. It's a different like they'll check in one time and see, okay, like I'm curious to see what it is. And then once their curiosity is satisfied, they'll move on.
Right.
There's been a lot of curiosity listening in 2024. I would agree with that.
Yeah. It's and another point, by the way, is numbers have never mattered less.
I'd agree, particularly now that we're seeing how manipulated they can be. But you're right. I agree.
So if you look at like by the numbers, like the biggest rappers of 2024, it's like Eminem and Nicki Minaj.
In terms of streams,
Yeah.
hmm,
In reality, those artists are dead on their feet. And nobody was excited about that music.
hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think we're moving towards a devaluation of streaming.
Right.
Uh, I'm not saying like it's completely dead in terms of the importance of it, but we're moving. I feel like I think you're right. You're onto something. There is a shift in the attitudes towards streaming and numbers and streaming numbers, I should say.
Streaming, you know what streaming numbers are like?
Huh.
This is my metaphor here. Streaming numbers are like when you're at a rap battle and you realize that one MC is winning like crazy because the whole audience is his boys.
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh," every time he says some shit, you know? Uh that's what these streaming numbers are, right? They're like, "Oh my God, look at how important this album is." I'm like, no one who listened to it thinks that. It,
Right.
it's not on any end of year list. It's not appreciated. It's not
I, I mean, I think streaming numbers, even I mean, I even the like the Billboard numbers, like
yeah.
having the number one album in the country used to mean something. I don't really think it means anything anymore. Having the number one song in the nation used to kind of mean something.
Yep, I agree.
But it doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Yeah. Yep, off the gold standard ass shit, man. Um,
Oh,
it's all made up. It's
yeah,
all made up. So but and that's just to say, like, there's some people their whole year was Sabrina Carpenter, man. That's all, man. I'm banging that shit. It's Sabrina
right.
Carpenter. And there's some people their whole year was Monzie the Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. It's all about Monzie the Terrible. So it's there's all these different spheres, right?
Right.
Of influence and understanding. So I think we've kind of got to approach the spheres topic by topic, and then go to the awards superlatives that we have.
Yeah.
We have superlatives planned. It's a beautiful thing. So to go non-hip hop, right off the bat, right? I wanted to talk to you about country and how you feel about country being dominant in 2024. Because it was, right?
It was absolutely. I mean, you can notice. I think I noticed the shift of country more of last year as well. You could see that there was a shift where they wanted to push country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that just kind of took over uh, in terms of what genre the industry wanted to highlight and wanted to start profiting off of.
Yeah.
And what I've like listening to it, like I haven't bought like a country album, but being in Maine, you're exposed to it a lot. You can see how they've started incorporating some of the hip hop elements into country. I mean that I think that kind of started with little Nas X, uh, Old Town Road, and then when that kind of popped off, they're like, okay, wait a second, we've got something here.
Yeah. Sometimes there's these artists that have been around that have been important, and you're always paying attention to them, but you haven't stepped back to think about their influence,
Right.
right? And the first time I was thinking about this stuff was when Vampire Weekend put out that country album.
The one this year was
No,
that
no, no.
okay.
The one before that. Um, and and they talked about the influence of Casey Musgraves on them,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
And that was Father of the Bride is the name of the album.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2019, right?
Right.
They talked about, like, the Musgraves, kind of like the warmth that they had gone to a Musgraves concert. There was just a warmth to the music and the energy,
I mean, she's phenomenal. Yeah, I'd
and
agree with that.
they wanted that. They wanted to be able to bring that kind of sonic warmth to the music.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I first was like, holy shit, like, country is bringing other folks over. Like, okay. And Jelly Roll and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's when I first started thinking about that stuff. So there's definitely a narrative that people have that, like, this surge in country is MAGA stuff.
No. No. I Not MAGA stuff. I would say maybe more traditional values. Sure, like a shift towards uh traditional value. Yes, traditional values.
I'm
Like
I'm
in
gonna give you
terms of, like hanging out with friends, enjoying a beer, just going out and enjoying life.
I'm gonna get you a traditional values T-shirt.
Yeah, because I think there's a difference between conservative and traditional values in my mind.
I hear you. No, I've always thought that the MAGA, this is MAGA, like, because it was just basically, obviously, Trump became president, country is dominant, people are, like
No.
drawing that straight line. I think basically, I've never believed in that. I just thought it's an oversimplification
Well,
that makes people feel better, right?
and we've talked about this in terms of music evolving in relation to each other.
Right.
And what I say, I one of my theories, and I think hip hop got too dark, and we've talked about this before. Hip hop and R&B got too dark, too drugged out, too hedonistic. So obviously, if there's another genre that evolves next to that, that kind of has a contrasting message, people are going to gravitate towards that. It's almost like a pendulum, it swings. And I think because of the state of hip hop, and I mean like mainstream, like the top of the top hip hop, people are swinging over to the other side of the pendulum.
Yeah. So you think that the darkness in this hip hop world has made people search for warmth?
The bleakness, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about the Future, the Weekend. Like those are very entertaining artists for sure, but it's a very bleak message.
Yeah.
And I think music is one of the it's one of the things that speaks to people's souls, in my opinion. And I mean, if you listen to Future for an hour, that's going to impact your mood.
Mhm. Yeah.
You listen to the Weekend, certain Weekend songs, that's going to impact your mood.
Right.
And I just think people are kind of swinging over to that other side now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different vibe listening to an hour of Jelly Roll versus an hour of 21 Savage.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I would say, yeah, I think I just don't want people to, yeah. What is it? Remember that when Nas said like, these country dudes ain't slow? Like it's don't
No,
don't underestimate these cats just because you don't like that music. It's
no. And I
yeah,
mean, I just had this thought yesterday, like the Shabuzi song. That's been number one for the past months or whatever. That pretty much, I don't even want to say samples because it goes deeper than samples.
yeah,
I
interpolation.
mean, essentially, it's like a reworking of Tipsy.
Yep, Jake Wan. Yep.
Jaquan, like that was a deliberate type of thing. Like that wasn't act by chance that he came across the idea to flip the Tipsy song.
Yeah.
So as I said, I think that they are really incorporating elements of hip hop into country's DNA, and that's why it's just becoming so widespread now. I think.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, there's a warmth, right? There's a
Yeah.
warmth that persists in that music, in the sonic tones of it. Um, it gets dark, but not too dark, you know? Um, what did my wife said something? Could quote my wife now. She said, "There's some dark chocolate where it's so dark you might as well just be biting the bean."
Mm.
So that's how dark some of this hip hop shit is, right? Like, think about it that way. So I love the Vince Staples. We're gonna talk about Dark Times, one of my favorite albums of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's some dark chocolate, dude.
Mm.
That's some dark chocolate. The doctor's gonna let you have that. That's good for you.
Oh.
But they want, Sometimes they want that cut. They want some milk chocolate, you know?
Well, right, there's
Yeah.
there's different, different spaces require different types of things.
Yeah.
And the Vince Staples may be richer nutrient wise, but
Yeah.
you can't. Sometimes when you're in the car, you just want like something sweet
Right.
that has a lot of calories in it. Like, so the space require calls for certain types of music.
Right. No, it's and Shibuzi. Let's get into Shibuzi, right?
Yeah,
Fucking fascinating. Shibuzi is fucking fascinating. And I
um,
didn't catch it. At first, I was like, I don't care. Like I spent 90% of the year not caring about Shibuzi. Because I listened to it and that album, it's like where I'm going isn't where I've been. Is that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where I've been isn't where I'm going. Sorry. Um, it's like the most straight ahead country album ever.
wow,
It's so country. It's so classically country. It's wild. It's
right,
wildly country, right? This is not some little Nas X shit. Little Nas X was playing with that audience. Like,
yes,
definitely, I'm
trolling.
not
He's
saying,
almost trolling them.
yes, I'm not saying it wasn't a good song. It was definitely a good song. It was definitely fun as hell, but he was messing around. Like, uh, if you know Little Nas X music, that's not the music he makes, right?
Right.
So this is the music Shabuzi makes.
Yeah.
But as you said, right, that Tipsy song is like that's country as fuck. The way it's done, the way it's delivered, it's country as
Oh
fuck.
yeah.
But if you grew up on like BTTRL countdowns, you know what I mean?
It's right.
AJ and Free and shit. Like you know that song.
Tipsy. Oh, I mean that
Know
that's
that song.
that's a modern hip hop classic in my opinion.
It's but it's we always have these conversations about Black Famous, right? To me, that song is Black Famous. You can't go
It's
everywhere. Not everybody knows that fucking song, right?
it's funny because I've mentioned that too. Like I've been out with my friends and be like, yo, this was a song that came out in 2003, and they were like, oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. It's it's in that sub pocket, but it was like it was huge within that sub pocket,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Huge, like uh, Brian McKnight kind of Black Famous thing, but like, but there's almost a coded language to that, where like if you know, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't, you don't have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And elsewhere on that album, Big X the Plug from Houston raps on that.
Wow.
Big X the Plug is a real ass spitter, dude. Like that is not just some country dude who started rap. That's a fucking rap. One of the best rappers
Now
in town.
he's starting to get his come up now as
Exactly,
well.
exactly.
Like
So if you listen to the Shabuzi album, here's how I would frame it. Here's the value in it. I've listened to it a few times now.
okay,
Starting to sink into it. Do you remember before we lost Future to 56 or 56 nights or whatever, before that dark turn into the Dirty Sprite universe,
okay.
before that,
Pluto was it?
Pluto, Honest, right? That era,
Mm-hmm.
Future was making this kind of inspirational trap
Mm.
R&B hip hop that was like NBA bumper commercial shit. Like
Oh, kind of. Was he in like the Ace Hood, like the Ace Hood era of?
dude, the shit was so catchy.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy, like same damn time, kind of, all that shit. So
Right.
he was he it was music that was full of adrenaline and it
Yep.
full of determination. It was anthemic, right? He is kind of he's that version of Future but country.
Fascinating. I could see that.
listen to Highway, listen to something. He knows how to maximize the levels, right?
I
Uh,
mean,
yeah.
it's fascinating because I remember I'll never forget this. This memory I had this summer. I was my I was driving with my family member,
Yep.
and I gave him like I was in my car and I gave him the aux cord, and
Mhm.
he put on the Shabuzi song, and I've never heard him listen to country before, but that Shabuzi, it was almost like the Shabuzi was a gateway for
If
him
and
into country.
if you listen to the delivery, there are future type delivery ticks in there. Like Shibuzi is someone listening to the music we listen to.
Mm-hmm.
He's just also listening to the country music that deep
Right.
that we don't listen to. So he's Shibuzi exists within these multiple spaces,
Yeah.
and it's very interesting.
and
Very interesting.
and I think the industry, like things like Shabuzi and Cowboy Carter, those things don't just happen.
No,
Those things take uh, time to happen, and I think the industry has really, as I said, I think it's a concerted effort by the industry to kind of move essentially away from hip hop in a lot of ways. Like if you can take the good out of hip hop, like the good positive elements, the catchy elements, and put that in the country, you don't need the old form of hip hop anymore.
right,
So I think moving forward in 2025, country and its evolution is something to keep an eye on, and what that's going to mean for mainstream rap and hip hop.
right. Yeah, everybody's scrambling to adjust. You know,
Sure.
so yeah, country was a big tone setter in the popular space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there was a lot of scrambling in the popular space because a lot of the majors that we're used to, nobody cares about Katy Perry anymore.
No.
You know, Gaga's had her time. Gaga's over in movies. Like, you know, it's just not, Cowboy Carter almost felt like one of those big Kevin Durant games where they still don't win. You killed it. You filled the stat sheet. It's fine. You know.
I I mean, I think for a lot of people, it was a curiosity. Listen, they
Yep.
tuned into like to see what the spectacle was about. But it's just difficult in terms of Beyonce. It's just difficult to go from Renaissance Part One to where you're making house, where it's like essentially a house, a house dance album to a country album. Like that's a big shift. Um, and then I think she's got a part three coming, so it'll be interesting to see where she goes from there. But that's just a big, that's just a really big shift to go.
Agreed. The last pop narrative, I think I want to poke a hole at a little
Okay,
bit. I don't want Kendrick to get too much credit for killing Drake. There's no
okay,
question he won the battle. There's no
right.
question he won the battle. This is not me relitigating and being like, have you really listened to what Drake was saying? No. This is me telling you, oftentimes when we go, oh, LL killed Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane was sputtering creatively. He was not merging well with the industry at the time. 50 Cent killed Ja Rule. Yes, but Ja Rule was really sputtering creatively. Um, and 50 was poking at those holes that were already there. So Drake's been releasing bad music for years.
Mm-hmm.
years.
Hmm.
So he was dead on his feet, dude.
Well,
Ultimately, Drake killed Drake.
yeah, I mean, I think it's not only Drake. I think mainstream hip hop was sputtering for a while. Has been sputtering for a while. Mainstream rap, and I think like Kendrick has been. He released. When did Mr. Morale came out in 2021? Right? Was it 2021 or 2022?
I don't know. I think it was
Okay.
probably, yeah.
Neither, either way, he's been kind of dormant for the past 3 years,
Right.
and I think he was just watching and observing the landscape, and he found his time to strike, and he did it.
Yeah,
He found he struck at the most vulnerable moment for Drake.
right. Absolutely. I just think in terms of career impact, the people who are holding their chest and going, "Oh my God, this beef stuff is so high stakes." Kendrick ended his career. No, he didn't end his career. Um, and his creative relevance was ended with years and years of bad music.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Like chart it, be honest with yourself, and keep it pushing. You know? Um, but yeah, that was my last thing there. Um, we can go to the sheet.
Mm.
Superlatives. We did the state of the game superlatives. Ooh, we got some good ones. What do you want to start with? What do you want to start
Oh,
with?
you can choose. You go.
You know what? I'm going to start with feature.
Okay.
The best feature means a lot to me. Okay? It means a lot to me, and I think sometimes it gets downplayed.
Hmm.
Um, People who are on crazy feature runs tend to be people you need to watch for their own albums, right? They're gearing up. And it's all, I don't know. It's, yeah. Sometimes you get hot at the free throw line, right? Like just seeing the ball go in the basket. And so, Steve,
Okay.
when you're featuring on a song, it flexes the creative muscle within a confined space,
Right.
right? There's already a song, the artist is already coming to you with a vision. So it's a great time for you to flex that muscle and go as hard as you can.
Right. I think a good feature injects energy or injects a certain element into the song that wasn't there previously.
Right. And the
Uh,
people who keep doing that, who keep injecting that energy over and over again,
yeah.
that means a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like an element of like a good feature to me is like an element of surprise. You know what I mean? It's like in the Cracker Jacks they have like the little prize at the bottom.
Yep.
It's almost like the prize at the end bottom of the Cracker Jack box.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm gonna go. Can I read off some of the
So
ones we have?
yeah, go ahead.
Billy Woods on Instant Transfer off Revelator.
Hmm.
Fat Ray on Something Else off Third Shift with Squad B. Elucid on Quickness, Nappy Nina and Swarvy. Kendrick Lamar on Like That.
Hmm.
Def C on Call Abandonment Rate. Open Mike Eagle on Dadaism 3. Uh, Shrapnel, right? The Call Abandonment Rate is the Through Lines EP with Willie Green and Prem Rock. Brittany Carter on Welcome, this the Slum Village album. Um, the She opens up. Ratman Gavin on Pale Horse.
Hmm.
Guessing Tree Fade Don't Not Fade Away. Alaska Adams on Joe Clare. Midnight Suns. Yeah. Yeah, man. Money has no owners. So uh go with talk to me about some of these or some of the ones you thought about.
Like I think like a good feature, like I liked what you were saying at the beginning about like a good feature is almost like it's almost like a artist heating up and
Mhm.
bubbling. Like I think of I go back to like 2003 when Kanye West was on his come up.
Yep.
For me, it was really his features that really created excitement for me. And I feel like that's how it used to work in hip hop, where like you would release a couple features and that's what would get people excited. And I mention that because I think what one that really stood out to me was Brittany Carter on
Yes.
the Welcome. Like the feature, like that is someone where you're interested to see where they, based on that short, 16 bars or whatnot, you're interested to see where they go.
Yep.
You become invested in someone's career just based on one feature.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's it's important. I'm gonna say right now, uh, like that is not my favorite. It's
No, it's not my favorite, but I think it's the most important one, in my
it's
opinion.
correct. It's an incredible verse, right?
Yes.
It's incredibly impactful, incredibly meaningful. Like for it shaped the year, but I
Yes.
don't think it makes the song better. I think it's derails the song a bit.
I think we agree disagree on that one. I mean, I think for some that is the only part of the song that takes so. If
That's what I'm
that's what
saying.
you mean,
It,
yeah,
it
it takes
doesn't.
over the song in a way that like no one listens to Future's verses.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't gel with. It doesn't make the song a good song. It it's its own thing,
Uh,
and that's always been my issue with Kendrick's features. That Kendrick features to kill you, but oftentimes he's not collaborating to make a good song with you.
well, so there's a competitive aspect to it.
Yeah, but not with his crew. When he works with J Rock, when he
Oh,
works with Soul, when he works with Schoolboy, he has fun and enjoy and they have a good time. If you bring him in and you're outside the crew, he does that shit. He does that.
right. He's gonna go for which I mean I feel like Eminem does the same type of thing. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think right. I think you're right. As an artist, when you add Kendrick to your song, when you kind of know what to expect in a lot of ways.
Do you remember? So I tried to put my son on. I was like, yo, listen to Forever. And that group song,
Yeah,
right, with everybody on it. And I really like I've talked about it before, but I love Wayne's verse on that shit. It's like the most Wayne shit ever. Um and he said, yeah, Wayne's great, but I always just stop it when Eminem starts.
hmm.
There's a laboriousness to all that, you know? To all that, watch me kill everybody.
Right.
We're just trying to finish the song, dog. Like we're just trying to you know, it's
Those
whatever.
guys are very competitive.
Yeah.
They take hip hop as a competitive art form, 100%.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes competitive is more important to them than the art form. But okay. Yeah, so I will say like that, it would not be there for me. It would not be one I would pick, right?
Mhm.
I nominated it. Totally understand that, right?
Right.
But I'm gonna go. Whew, if we do,
Well, I know what mine is. You can go.
go yours. Do yours. Do yours.
Yeah, it's for me. It's the instant transfer Billy Woods.
What a crazy verse that is, dude.
Yeah.
What a crazy verse.
And
The way
I
he
think for
delivers it is
me,
so
it
wild.
just.
So
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
the way he delivers it is so wild. His voice is up and down. Yeah.
You know the for me it's just like a masterclass. The personality, the way that he delivers some lines, like it's just. I mean, it's just a phenomenal feature to me, and it injects the song with like he doesn't take over the song. It just injects it with a certain element that wasn't there before he got on the track.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
think him and Elucid have that chemistry where like they feed off of each other and they know what they each need to do in order to accentuate what the other is doing.
I'm tempted to go Dadaism. I
Mm,
love Open Mike Eagle on Dadaism 3. It's incredible.
yeah, yeah.
And shout out to Alaska on Joe Claire. Incredible opening verse.
Mm-hmm.
Did you Chong when they were putting that out? Chong tagged Joe Claire and said we did a song about you. And Joe Claire threw a bunch of fire emojis. It was great. Like so cool to have Joe Claire know that. My thing is this. I'm going call abandonment rate. I'm going Def C. Def C is my feature artist of the year.
Mm,
All of my favorite albums this year had insane Def C features, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Money Has No Owners, right? Uh, track 6, Men Never Take Advice, right?
Right.
Sour Dub, Cool Jerk, uh, just every everywhere I went, Def C was on my favorite albums, killing it, killing it. And you and I know how hard Def C works, right?
100%. Absolutely.
This is someone who gives verses to young cats at a discount because he wants to help, right? But he's competitive
Mm,
and he didn't really release like a lot this year of his own, right?
mm-hmm.
I'm telling you guys, brace for a Def C impact in 2025.
Mm.
I can feel it coming. Brace yourself. Def C's gonna hit, and I hope he hits hard. Uh, I would love to have it. Like, Def C is one of the best features in the world right now, and in
Mm.
2024, I don't think anybody was better as a better feature.
What do you think made him one of the best features?
There's a dexterity to it, man. Call abandonment rate is so personal.
Mm-hmm.
The last line is, it was like I hug my phone, she hugs her iPad. And he's talking about saying goodnight to his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from a distance. It's one of the most personal, heart-wrenching versus guest features of the year, right? Um, and he's there's other verses where he's just so fucking funny and so weird and just throws wild shit in there. Cool Jerk is an amazing song. Uh, yeah, just Def C is always trying something new
Mm-hmm.
with these verses, always switching patterns, moods, just giving you the best that he could give you at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go Def C for my featured player of the year. Um, and your wait, say who was yours was instant transfer.
It's in transfer.
Woods has absolutely been a feature killer for years. I love that he's into that. I think it's one of the things that keeps him sharp. You
Well,
know, sometimes the power hitter has to just like roll into the derby and hit the home run. Hit some home runs. Just be like, fuck it. So yeah, that's what I do. Next in line,
cool.
I want to talk about most fascinating character.
Okay.
And if we lost something here, missed somebody, you let me know. Okay.
Okay.
I got Bruiser Wolf, LL Cool J, Billie Eilish, Doechii, Shabuzi, and Tyler the Creator.
My I'm gonna have to go with Doechii. I think she's really, you can tell it's almost like a rocket ship. You can tell like she's like, I don't know what's the rocket ship phases, but you can see like she's bubbling. I
Yep.
no, it's beyond bubbling now. This is about, she's about to take off, I think.
And people who say she's like a plant, an industry plant, it bugs me a little bit because I've been waiting for Doechii for years. Years. I love her features. Uh, she's been killing it for a long time. Great singles. Like we all knew Doechii was coming with some crazy shit.
Yeah. Now when you say, when what is your interpretation of the word plant?
I hate the term industry plant. I will not defend it or define it. But
Right.
um, people are saying that this seems industry plant like because this come up was out of nowhere.
No, no.
It was not out of nowhere. Uh, she's been on feature. She's been doing crazy shit.
Yes.
Like we all knew she was going. She was, a problem, a big deal. We were all. If you ask critics were waiting for this project.
Right. And I mean, she's incredible. And for me, she's very charismatic, and that, I think it's for her, she's one of those rare artists for me where what she does in real life translates to the music very seamlessly to me.
Now there is to me like maybe a little synthesis with Tyler and Doechii.
Right.
Tyler
And
and
she
Doechii.
was on his album.
Huh?
She was on his album.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's a little commonality there. I was thinking about Tyler. One of the interesting things about Tyler is he is a child of the internet
Mm-hmm.
in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a little bit immune to the bullshit. Like, no one's going to cancel Tyler.
No.
He understands how to troll. He understands how to not be misconstrued, right? Tyler will say some wild shit in an interview, right? But he says it so emphatically him. And, and so you can't ding him for it.
Well, that, and I think he's got the artistic credibility where he's not half-assing his projects, and so that gives him a certain level of, I don't know the word I want to use. I guess credibility. That gives him a certain level of credibility where he can speak more freely and do things that maybe other artists would have to think twice about doing.
I used to have a work expression. I have a lot of work expressions, but I used to have a work expression basically like you have to learn to make all your decisions with the voice in your back of your head saying, if I get fired for this, I'm cool with it. That's how much I believe in what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you get to that phase of your career, you're hard to stop
You're hard to say. Yeah.
because you're genuine. You're moving in a very
Good.
genuine way, right? You're leaving powerful footprints.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tyler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tyler moves with emphasis, uh, moves with just full capability, um, and is like, if you don't like this, that's fine. I believe in it.
Right.
And it's it's won over time. Over time, people love that shit because there's a lot of watered down stuff. There's a lot of people saying absolutely nothing
Mm-hmm.
to be popular.
Right. I think melding in half-ass efforts. I mean, you look at the run Tyler's been on.
Right.
I'm, going all the way back, maybe even the Flower Boy. I think Igor is where he really took off for me.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
Call Me If You Get Lost, Igor,
Yeah.
Chromacopia. That's a heck of a run.
Yeah.
On top of the features where he's been everywhere in terms of hip hop, he's been everywhere. Uh, and he can move in any room and be himself. And there's something to that. You know what I mean?
And that's the similar vibes I get from Dochi.
Yeah.
Dochi is someone who has grown up on the internet, understands that she'll never win the internet's love, and is just, being Dochi,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, yeah, it's moving through that space, doing her thing. And um, yeah, it's crazy, crazy patterns, wild phrases, uh, just a wonderful flow. Um,
Right. Very
Ali, yeah,
technically sound. Like underneath all that zaniness, there is a lot of technicality.
I'm really excited for a real album. This was a mixtape.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for a real album and how it's going to work.
absolutely.
Yeah, Dochi's, you're going to go Dochi in that pick. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dochi. Uh, I will say I loved Bruiser Wolf all year. I still find Bruiser Wolf fascinating. Is my number one booking regret that we weren't able to get him on. As I love Bruiser Wolf, but I'm gonna move on from that. Yeah, moving on. Crazy. Oh, should we do our state of the game shit, dog?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
3 song run.
Okay, yeah.
3 song run. We got lots of cool shit here. And
Mhm.
you might have more that you haven't had. I don't know. Uh
Well, I've got a few myself, yeah.
Revelator, song 10 to 12. Let me get some specifics on that. 10 to 12.
Let's see. Um,
That's that Hush Puppies sequence.
yeah, so okay, you want to start at Hush Puppies? So it's
Wait, no, 10 to
Hush
12.
Puppies
10 to 12. Let's see. Is there
14.4 featuring Sketch
sketch fun? Yep.
185 and Voice to Skull.
Yeah, no, it's SKP
Okay.
Hush
Oh,
Puppies 14.4.
okay. 10 to 12.
Yep. It's hard because that album is just airtight. You could pick a bunch of runs.
Right.
That's makes sense. Yeah. Chromacopia 6 to 8 is like the sticky sequence, right?
Mhm.
I think
It's
that's
for-
portion all around sticky. Oh, and the Judy song and Judge Judy's in that, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Let me.
yeah, yeah. Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh, um. So I've got the other one I've got is uh Nulufar, my method actor,
Yeah.
6 to 8. So that's Ready for Sun, Touch, Call It Love, and Faith's Late.
It's funny because I mean, several of my picks have 6 to 8 runs as well.
Yeah.
There's something about the middle, that middle of the album.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, it's crazy. Um Blue Lips was at 1 to 4 that we had.
Yeah.
Blue Lips, Funny Guy, Pop, Thank God for Me, Blue Slides. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chromacopia is 6 to 8. I still gotta narrow down what exactly that is.
6 to 8 is I
Oh, I
Killed
killed
You,
you.
Judge Judy,
And then
Sticky.
Sticky. Oh, that's a good 3 song run. That's mean. That's mean right there. I like that. Um, so we did Revelator, we did Chromacopia. Bruiser Wolf. I had to put it on there. My story's got stories. 1 to 3. Let the young boys eat. Too bad. Waiting in the lobby. Ooh, I love that shit. That's heavy. Uh, guest on the show had to put it on there. Miles Bullen, Time to Kill. 2 to 4. Stephen King and Moxie. I wrote my will on a chalkboard. Heart on Fire. Ooh, good
Yeah,
run.
it's funny because I re-listened to that album as well, and that was one that really uh I think for me that album aged well.
Yeah, that's a great album, dude. I'm telling you. It's not just me. So 10 to 12 on also on Tiger's Blood, Waxahachie, 365 The Wolves, Tiger's Blood. It is do you have more?
Yeah, so I had Samurai, the opening 3 songs to Samurai from Lupe.
Ooh, there's cake in that?
Yeah, so it's let me get it out. It's
Samurai Mumble
Samurai,
Rap
Mumble Rap, and Cake.
Cake. Ooh, that's a good one.
And then I had the Triumphant 6 to 8.
Oh,
Let me see if I can get you the exact song names. It was that because we specifically talked to him. The Light of Day, Fences, Miraculous.
yes. Oh,
Uh,
love you put that on there.
for me, that it was just the sequencing of that,
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
and then I had Ka the Thief next to Jesus, right? 6 to 8 as well.
I couldn't make up my mind on the thief next to Jesus where I would even go.
Yeah, so I went Broken Rose Window, God Undefeated, and Soul and Spirit.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Broken Woods Window's great. Jeez. Whew, we got some choices here.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Where's your head at?
I mean, I think it really, because we've discussed this in the past about having different, like, there's different types of runs. You know what I mean? So it for me, I'm really gonna go with the triumphant.
Okay.
I like that from a technical standpoint. What he did with that run, with those three songs, to me, almost tell like a little mini story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the contrast with each of the songs really highlights them, and it's really like it almost like an emotional arc in one 3 song span of an album. So I'm gonna go with that one.
And to be fair, that is kind of the epitome of the arc, right? The epitome of the arc is if you have never heard this album, I can give you those three songs and you're in,
Yeah.
right? That keys you in. It's the um mm, and how they transition to each other, how they build one another is really important for us, right?
The
Um,
interaction, right. Now I like they're not the best songs of the year to me
no.
personally, but that the three of them, the three of those songs together, there's like a certain synergy where they really, you almost have to view them together. They're almost as one unit,
Yeah.
which to me is like the sign of a really good 3 run song.
Yep. I'm gonna go 6 to 8 Chromacopia.
Mm. Ooh, interesting.
I just those songs click together so well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they contrast each other so beautifully, right? The that like hard-nosed in your face, I killed you. And then
Mm.
right to like this kind of playful singing, oh Judge Judy, and to Sticky, which is and I remember my son coming to me like, Sticky's weird. I don't get it. I get it. And like I'm like, I understand. Like Sticky is the weirdest banger of the year.
Yeah.
All the weird
Features
whispering and all the crazy shit. It's magnificent. It's
Glorilla, Sexy Red, and Lil Wayne.
Yep. 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 It's magnificent. So it's not he's yeah, he's a curator, you know? So I'll go with that one. Yeah. Yeah. Um hurts my heart to pick against these other ones, but what are you gonna do? Um did that. We're doing pretty good. Okay. Most interesting discussion topic.
Okay.
And we can do more. Cowboy Carter and how country interacts with the rest of music. AI, pop rap catching up to underground rap, music journalism layoffs, prolific release schedules, beef, not just Kendrick and Drake, but Lotto and Ice Spice.
Mm.
Lotto might have taken Ice Spice out of the game harder than Kendrick did to Drake. Um, oof. But the other was how can older rappers remain vibrant? Lupe, LL, Method Man, that kind of thing. Anything
Mm.
else that you think we should include?
No, I mean I think those pretty much cover it.
From that
So
group, I would pick the older rappers remaining vibrant.
so when you say most interesting discussion, what do you mean?
So it's a good point. I'm talking about what was the like when you have water cooler conversation and you're
Mm.
talking about what's happening in music this year. Some topics are not fun to talk about, like AI. Honestly, AI is not that fun to talk about. Uh, I I don't like talking about AI. Um, But I love to talk about these other things. And my
Right.
pick would be older rappers remaining vibrant because I loved talking about Lupe and Samurai, and I loved talking about LL Cool J and Force. I loved talking about these older rappers remaining relevant. You know, Khan, Woods, just all these people who have been around for 1,000 years. Um, and-
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about. The emphasis on numbers.
right,
You know, when LL comes back, when LL releases a project, he's not worried about numbers anymore.
right.
Uh, Same with Lupe. I don't know if Method Man released a project, but I think
Feature
they
killer.
are
He's doing the feature killer shit.
right. They don't number. They've gotten to the point in their career where they can just rest on. They can look at what they've contributed, not only to hip hop but to pop culture in general, and feel really proud of themselves. So they don't have anything to prove to anyone. And so that allows them to go out and really make music that they want to make without the pressure of having to prove their relevance anymore.
Right. I mean, I would say the reason that discussion was so interesting to me is we got lots of examples of how to do it and how not to do it.
Mm.
Right? Lupe Samurai, it's like what, 10 songs?
I, yeah, it's very short. I don't
10,
even know if
11
it's 10.
songs. It's a tight concept.
Right.
It's playful, exercises uh his skills. Whereas Redman just dropped Muddy Waters 2 TOO, and it's like 33 tracks, and it's a bunch of skits, and it's awful. And
No,
so
didn't
go ahead.
Ice Cube release something
Oh
and
my
Snoop
God. That might be the
released
worst
something?
album of the year. That's a bad one. Yeah, the first like 3 or 5 songs are just about cancel culture and how much it's like it's
Mm.
it's bad, it's really old. And MC Light put out an album I wanted to like, but it wasn't good. We've had lots of examples of like this year we had a bunch of counterbalanced examples of like this artist is old and killing. And like now we're starting to get like, no, you made bad choices, dude. It's not about you being old. You made bad choices. So it puts more pressure on people to put out good music and good work.
Like I think of and like I think of LL and
Mhm.
Q-Tip, but I also think of Nas and Hit Boy. I think as they get older, artists can work with people who like. For me, like it probably wouldn't have made sense for '90s LL Cool J to work with Q-Tip. From like a commercial standpoint, it wouldn't have made sense. But or even like a Nas to work with someone like Hit Boy. So as they get older, they can take more chances. And they can try things that they wouldn't have tried in the past because of fear of failure. And I think that's why you're getting like you get like the LL Cool J project because he's not afraid of failure. Like they're not trying to prove anything.
Yeah, exactly. They're not afraid of failure. They've marshaled their resources. Some of the older rappers, to be honest, are like industry rappers from the 90s rap industry that's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really know how to roll out an album all by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So they, but now that L successfully done it, now that all these other older rappers are successfully doing it, the pressure's on, and there's a new Fat Joe album. There's
Oh,
new
Frederick,
albums
yeah.
from everybody from that old era, and I'm happy that they're being able to, you know, um, let us know their thing. There was a great Dog Pound album this year.
Oh yeah, that was earlier in the year, right?
Yep, yep, and a great Lady of Rage verse on that album. I re-listened to that album. It's good.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. So that was my number one in terms of topics.
Hmm.
What were you enjoying from the discussion end of things?
Definitely the country, the how country is,
Interacts with the rest of music.
yeah, because that's the conversation I've had several times this year.
Yep.
Even like really starting last year.
Yeah.
Um, and I think in terms of the show, I think prolific release schedules has been like a common theme that we've gone over
Yep.
and we've talked with guests throughout the year about.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's real.
so
It's not like there wasn't a lot of new ground to cover in that within that, right?
but
It was still something we were talking about, but I don't think it was like new.
right, no, I
Yeah.
mean for me it was definitely the country.
Right. Ooh. So 2024 voice. Oh no, let's
Hmm.
not do that. Let's do best produced album first.
Okay.
Project. I got some people in that. Macro from Bragine, Chromacopia, Tyler the Creator, Nothing is My Favorite Thing, Swarvy, and Nappy Nina, The Thief Next to Jesus Ka, Blip, The Expert in Not Really, and Leon, Preservation, Crime Apple, Pinball, Tony Seltzer, Mike, Lathander, Lobgon, and Heems.
Okay.
Do you have more that we should add in?
How would you define now when you say best produced? What do you mean?
So, uh, and in this way, production is almost like great coaching, right? You only know it works when you're holding up the title and the confetti's falling on you.
Mhm.
Uh, you know it because it really works. It really pulls together the best the artist is going to give. It gets the best out of the artist,
Mm.
and it it just it works, stays with you. It achieves its goal. And that doesn't have to be maximalist. It doesn't have to be minimalist.
Mhm.
It achieves its goal with the artist.
Okay, I like that. Definitely, it achieves its goal with the artist. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so I would add the Shrapnel album to it. Nobody's planning to leave.
Oh, Controller 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It by going by your definition. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's some Don Staley coaching right there.
Yeah.
That's good shit. So I'm with you on that. Um, so that added to this list, how are you feeling? Who are you circling? Who you're
Man, I think for me, I think the most striking one was the Thief Next to Jesus.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Uh, in terms of like what was the last song? What
Oh, with
was
the screaming.
yes,
True holy water? True holy water.
yes, that was the moment that really, in terms of 2024, that was a musical moment that really resonated with me that I won't forget. That struck a chord with me, and I think, and he produced this album, right? This
Yeah,
was
yeah. Believe you did.
yeah. I mean, I think this. I'm just going with my gut. I think this is this in terms of his production. In terms of the lyrics, this is the one I think this is the best produced album for me, from
Yeah,
top to bottom, or most cohesive. And like what you were saying about the vision, like this is an album that had a very specific goal, and it nailed. Maybe I'll use it accomplished that goal.
right. Yeah, no, he definitely did that. Cobb, according to Wikipedia, produced the whole thing. Just growing as a producer, dude. You know, uh, vocals and production, crazy. God was 101, man. Uh, my pick would be um, El Leon, Preservation and Crime Apple.
Hmm.
It just all hangs so neatly together. That was one of those albums, Kay. I was always like, I want to listen to this album, and I'd press play, and all of a sudden, and I was bobbing my head, and I was loving it, and it was over before I knew it. I almost wanted to play it again.
27 minutes. It came out January 26th of 2024. Wow.
I hung out with it all year, man, and I still listen to it all the time. Uh, it's Boulevard is one of the most beautiful songs of the year of the closer. Uh, it's just yeah, and preservation, dude. Preservation is just somebody who knows what he's doing, um, and loves a challenge.
Hmm.
So it makes sense. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with that as mine. Yeah. I wish I had more kind of buttery ways to describe it, but hey, sometimes that shit just hypnotizes you. It is what it is.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to go back to that one. Yeah.
I love it. So now we go to 2024 voice. To define this, right? Very simply, right? The voice of this year, um, somebody who was unique, and voice doesn't just literally mean voice, although it does. It also means the voice of their work, right? Their writing, their delivery, you know, their voice and how they position themselves as artists. Who who is the voice of this year? Um, so I put Future, Glorilla, Cavalier, Vince Staples, Andrew, Yaya Bay. Do you have more that you would think of?
I mean, I I I think you have to put in terms of voice. I would put Kendrick in there,
Okay.
just in the way that he uses his voice. His voice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He loves some
I
voice.
mean, I'd like. Let me hear your pick, and then I.
My first temptation was to go Glorilla.
Yeah. Okay.
Glorilla has a real sense of emphasis, uh, and um, a real sincerity to how she's saying what she's saying that carried a lot this year. Yeah, glow, like it was a real thing,
Hmm.
and it got people motivated and moving. But I think I'm gonna go Vince Staples on this. Vince Staples released Dark Times, and it's a very dark project. There's murdering people, there's not being able to trust the ones you love. And then he released a Netflix show that was so fucking dark. It was even darker than Dark Times. Did you see him on the Netflix show? Did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, you gotta see it. It's very funny. It's very dark. Um, but that kind of humor. And it's just so unique. I was thinking about it. I think I might have told you this early this year. I kept thinking of Billie Eilish and Vince Staples together
Yeah.
because they find a way to make like heart-wrenching depression into bangers.
So when you say voice, you almost see it in like a literary fashion,
Yeah,
in a way,
yeah, I
like a
do.
way that a
That is an
writer.
element of it. That is an element of it. Yep, yep.
Okay, okay. So you're not thinking like aesthetically, what is
It's a part of it. That's a part of it too.
right?
That's a part of it. But it's an over. It's more than that. It's kind of yeah. To
You're right. I think from a literary sense, in terms of, and we've talked about, like if you read the lyrics, if you were to read the lyrics of someone, would it still resonate with
yep.
you as much as if hearing them perform it? I think Vince really, I think he knows his voice
Mhm.
very, very well, and he knows what he wants to say and what is the most effective way to say it.
Yeah, I mean so Vince has this kind of, and we saw him live this year.
Yeah,
That's cool. We got to see this and experience this. Vince knows how to work like a dead tone of voice
yeah,
really well. If you listen to like Nothing Matters on Dark Times, right? Like he just knows how to deliver it in a heartbroken, dead tone. Um, and with so much emphasis. Etouffee is one of the best songs of the year.
and right, and he cultivated that, with any good writer, they've cultivated that voice over time. So I'm gonna agree with your, if we're looking at it from a literary angle, I'm gonna agree with your point. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Vince as well.
Go with Vince. Um, MVP of the year. I threw some names up there. Let's not even worry about it. You tell me who you think is the MVP of the year. Now, MVP state of the game. Let's be clear. Okay? State of the game definition. Oh, sorry, Free Music Empire definition of MVP
Okay.
has always been who made the most drastic like progress. It's not about like, oh, Kendrick. Yeah, Kendrick's already won a Pulitzer, dude. Like it's not, you know, he didn't really reach that much of a new level. He was just doing Kendrick things, you know. Um, and same with like Schoolboy, right? Schoolboy's already been Grammy nominated, like you know. So it's for me, it's about who made the most drastic jump. Yep.
I'm gonna go Cavalier.
Boom.
Yeah.
Cavalier had 3 releases this year. Death Tape 2 with Quelle Chris. Different Type
Good
Time
time
in
and
like
sing it.
April, right? March, April.
Different type time was April 19th.
And then he had Sin with Child Actor that dropped in November.
Yes.
And also crazy features all over the place in between that. So it felt like Cavalier was everywhere, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And that's dope. Like that's like able to really kind of be everywhere. Um, and not have to release a project every month, right? Um, so yeah, you could just feel the force of his work and personality.
Well, It's the versatility. It's the versatility that stands out to me. I mean, if you're like, there's a delicate balance of being. There's a fine line between being versatile and yet being what's the word I want to use? Coherent at the same time.
Right.
And I think he really walks that line very well.
And,
So if you can do both, you don't have to release, you don't have to flood the market because the projects that you're giving are so uh, versatile and what's the word, nutritious, that's enough to feed people. It's
and
almost like going to
yeah,
a fine restaurant. When you go to like a really fine dining, they don't give you like a lot of food,
right,
like like a Sizzlers or something.
right. It we don't so
Shout
someone
out to Sizzlers though.
who loves Sizzlers. I agree. Uh, I would say someone who um was stylistically top notch, right?
Hmm.
Everything from the videos uh, to the clothes to everything was just top notch, right? To someone who is, uh, you know, top notch in the craft, right? Perfect hooks, perfect bridges, perfect, you know, double meanings, double entendres, all
Hmm.
that, right? Um, and then also someone who's intellectually challenging
Yeah.
at the same time. To have all that happening at once is amazing. And you know what? I got to give you credit. I got to give you credit.
Okay.
We sat here with Cavalier, talked about different type time.
Hmm.
You said touchstones,
What I say?
touchstones, touch or yeah.
Okay. Yes. The
You
five.
specifically pointed out that song as being a key. And the more I listened to that album over the year, the more that song was the absolute beating heart of it.
Mm. Damn. Yeah. I think because he's given several good interviews this year. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not only the music for me, but it's also what you're doing outside of the music as well in terms of the touring, the interviews. I mean, I think
Making himself available. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and giving thoughtful, like every answer he was giving was thoughtful. That
Absolutely.
from what I remember from the interview, and I think for me when we're looking at careers in 2025, I think it's gonna start to move beyond just the discography. It's I think there's a more holistic approach. We're also going to be looking at how are they playing the game in terms of, or how are they being strategic in terms of their collaborations, in
Right.
terms of their touring, their interviews, how they're handling the press and the media. For me, that's going to play a factor into things moving forward as well.
Right. It's that Brzezowski quote. If you release a dense album, you have to be prepared to explain your dense album.
Hmm.
Right? You can't be offended when people don't know what you talked about. Right?
Right.
So it's that like writ large, like of like, okay, so this is your master opus. There's a lot of layers to it. So you're gonna have to go around and talk through those layers with different people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he helped people understand different type time.
Yes. And I think I think that's why it resonated with so many,
Yeah.
not only people but media establishments as well, because he took the time to give thoughtful interviews, uh, and I think those two work hand in. So it's not only the music, but what you're doing outside of the music as well, uh, that go hand in hand.
I thought you were gonna say not just people but robots. That would have been awesome. But yeah, no, it's I'm glad you said that. I have a full write-up
Hmm.
for my MVP case for Cavalier that I will be dropping on the freemusicempire.com. Uh,
Cool.
yeah, so that'll be good. And yeah, that's good stuff. The should we do recommendation code? Do you have final thoughts?
No, man.
I think this was fun. I kind of enjoyed this more to be able to just have this
Yeah.
open conversation about what was going on. Um,
Yeah, I mean, last year, I mean, was exhausting. I think we talked for
it
it must
was
have been over 3 hours.
it was a lot, bro. It was a
Yeah.
lot. It was a lot to ask guests to be a part of, like it was uh and the list's there. Like I've sent the list to my Patreons. Jesus.
Hmm.
FM enthusiasts. Um and they got it. So they're vibing, you
Yeah.
know. If you are not a Patreon subscriber and you want to look at the list, hit me. I'll send you the list, you know.
Yeah.
I'm around. So
And
yeah.
and I think we wanted to be more this the way that we did it this year is more what's the word you use? Personable. It felt more personal. We talked about specific moments that really stood out to us, and that it's like a little puzzle piece. When you put all the pieces together, paints creates the whole puzzle for me. So
And I think the way we did this, we can fold people into this
yes,
and it'll be fine,
100%.
in the future. We just wanted to roll it out ourselves. Um, but yeah, recommendation corner. Um, let's talk about what we've been rocking. Oh, Christopher season 4, Don Tripp. Man, Don Tripp's a bad dude. Oh, another one who should have been in for feature of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 times. You remember that?
Yeah,
Uh,
5 times.
part two,
Sounds familiar.
Starlito.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He had the 5 times. Two 2.0. Don Tripp had that incredible verse. He was like crying through the verse. It was unbelievable. Um, yeah, everybody should hear that. Uh, I don't know. There was a new Salt album, but I didn't listen to it. I feel like they're mostly vibes now. Like
Mm.
it's not. I'm not feeling the full musical thing that I used to. Um, yeah, Starduster by Casual, the EP, been rocking with that. Give me some Bandcamp. Some Bandcamp. Yeah, I've been rocking lots of stuff. Let me go with the singles. Bartees Strange has a new album coming out. I think Jack Antonoff produced it,
Oh, wow.
and it's called Horror. Two singles dropped, Too Much and Sober. Beautiful songs. So couldn't be more hyped for it. I'm excited. Oh, okay. Uh Crate 808 Cam have this year-end thing, and he allows people to like send him voice notes.
Okay.
Always send way too many. Yeah, drop all the stuff. Most people send one voice note. I send a bunch. Um, and so it was 5 hours long, the total episode this time.
Okay. I thought you said you sent a 5 hour voice note. I
No,
don't know.
no, I sent a bunch
Okay.
of different
All right.
voice notes, but it was 5 hours. And there was this time, it was like what was the moment of the year or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and I just decided to kind of walk outside and talk about Ka and how what Ka is gonna mean to me. I got very emotional uh, while recording the voice note. Um, and left it, and it really hit me hard re-listening to it. But I chalked that up to narcissism that I made myself emotional. It was like what a thing. But now that it's out, other people are starting to filter in and be like, "Man, Dano's thing on Kai, I needed that. Like, that's awesome."
Mm.
So, I would it's affirming, right? Like my creative energy in this space is directed at being as sincerely invested in every moment as possible. You know?
Right.
Uh, that's the footprint I want to leave.
Mm.
So that's I think I was successful in that instance. So I'm very, very excited about that.
You live by
Um,
the sword, you die by the sword.
that's right. Fuck it. So and that's my t-shirt. That's right. Fuck it. Uh, you're gonna get the traditional values, that's gonna be mine. But what have you been listening to?
Oh man, nothing new recently. I just did the review of, just went back and listened to the stuff from 2024, and I'm just looking forward to what 2025 has in store.
Man, so much good stuff.
Yeah.
So much good stuff. Yep. But some of which I'm not able to comment on. But very excited for more to come. And yeah, yeah. The any oh yeah, anything God, I'm so glad we're done with Christmas movies, dude. Family watched every Christmas movie. It was crazy. It was crazy. Uh
Oh.
anything you've been watching?
Uh, let's see. No, not really. I did see. What did I see? Yeah, I can't even remember. I saw Flow. Uh, yeah, no, nothing really. It's been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks. So,
Man, I am hyped for the new Superman movie. The trailer's awesome.
oh, I did see that. Yeah,
That looks great. So I'm
I
really,
mean James Gunn, he's got a lot of work to do to kind of
yep.
repair that universe. But
Yeah, I think they're on the way. I
oh
think,
yeah, and it's funny because Marvel's starting to lose its footing.
yeah.
So if they're not careful, these things can turn very quickly.
Could it be Kendrick Drake situation?
Uh-huh.
Going for the KO. Um, we'll see. And that would make Zack Snyder the J. Cole of the situation. Um, it's just a good place to leave it. Thank you for all the viewership, all the listenership, all the people supporting and talking about it and mentioning what we said and um you know the numbers are fine, that's cool, but when people come up to me and are like, I love palm wine, and I'm like, that's incredible, we did an episode on it. They're like, I know, I listened to it because of your episode.
Yeah,
Like, that's that's it, that's why I do this, you know. Yeah, if you're an artist and you want to use us to succeed, that's exactly what the fuck you should do. We are tools. Use us. Don't worry about it.
absolutely.
What will tomorrow bring?